Hey there, welcome to the Snailed It Podcast with Danikka and Erin, brought to you by Thomson Publishing.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Snailed It Podcast with Danikka and Erin. We're back.
2025. Hi.
2025. Can you believe? I honestly cannot believe.
It just sounds so weird. The other day I wrote 1995, which is like my birth year. I was like, what the hell?
That is, yeah, you skipped a lot. You've lost a lot of time there.
I dropped back a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't even write in 1995.
Oh, wow. Yeah, 2025. When this one comes out, will it have pretty much been like 12 months of the podcast? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it'll be pretty much bang on 12 months.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I'm excited.
And we had a bit of a break.
Yes, we're coming back from
January.
A month off. Yes, month off recording for us too. That's probably why we're sounding a bit rusty.
Yeah, we're like, how do we do this again? Yeah, but we're excited to dive into the new year. We did have to have a chat of what we're actually doing before we hit record because we were like, we don't know what we're talking about.
I feel like that's kind of the theme for everyone for this new year, though. Like everyone that I've talked to, it's like just doesn't feel like it's a new year yet. Like the year, it's like it's been a drag of a January.
January is always a drag. Although I firmly believe that January is the practice month for the year, so January doesn't actually count.
Yeah.
And it probably helps that I go on a family holiday like near the end of January. So I'm like, nothing counts before that holiday is done. And my kids have only just gone back to school. So I'm like, any kind of productivity in the month of January is just, it's not a thing. So yeah, if anyone is having trouble, no, the year has only just really started because February is the actual start of the year and January is the practice month. So don't feel bad. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just dreaming about them. Anyway, welcome to the first tangent of 2025.
If you're still listening, we did actually have stuff we were going to talk about, but I can't remember what it was.
No, I remember. I just got distracted. We're talking about what we've got coming in 2025.
Yes, that's right.
Because we did, like a slight pivot. Like it's like a 45-degree pivot.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, context is like all of last year we were recording the podcast and, we've been doing interviews with authors on the podcast who have been our beta runners for our self-publishing packages at Thomson. So, I had this idea when we were starting up Thomson Publishing of what I wanted to be able to offer indie authors at Thomson, and it was always going to include self-publishing packages and courses to help them learn how to publish and write their books. But I just thought I had the most clear idea of how it was going to work for the publishing packages. So that's what we focused on in the beta process.
Well, and that's where your previous experience is like.
Yeah. It's where my experience is. It's where the editing kind of thing is. And it's what I've watched most of the authors kind of struggle with as they come through because, it's the easiest thing to create a recipe for, I suppose, is that process because it's, the steps are very prescriptive. It's easy to follow through. You create this, and voila, you have a book. But throughout the beta process, what we've found is that's probably not what is most needed by authors in the industry. And it's also not where the best time and energy of the team at Thomson are spent. We are still going to offer services that help indie authors in that self-publishing process, but just the format that we had during the beta process is probably not going to continue to exist because it's not really sustainable.
Yeah.
Not energy-wise and not
specifically.
Energy-wise or financially for me or for the authors because my whole idea the whole time has been that, I want to find the best of both options, both trad or hybrid publishing and indie publishing. And I think we can find the balance of it, but it's not in what I was doing in the beta process because what we were doing in that is not, if I was to charge what I was worth, what all of the time and energy I put into all of those packages, no author would ever be able to afford it. Not the authors who I want to work with, not the the voices that need to be heard and the books that need to be written, and that don't get the option to be published in other ways. And so that is just not what we're going to be focusing on this year. We are still going to have those services, and I'm excited for those different options and things that we've worked on throughout the year, because I think I've learned a lot, and, the team has learned a lot. And so we have a lot of different options that are going to be available, but we are just going to be pivoting slightly from the neatly everything done up into a little package for you to more of an a la carte. So you pick what you want, which also was some of the feedback from some of the authors that I worked with, that they would have preferred to just pick and choose what they needed. And so then they could do, DIY options for the things that they would prefer to do for themselves as well. Because sometimes, and that's the beauty of being an indie author, you want more control. And sometimes more control means being able to choose what you want to do for yourself and what you want people that you're hiring to do, which sometimes an all-in-one package doesn't allow you to do.
Yeah.
So we're kind of pivoting away from creating those all-in-one packages. We still have all of the options available, but we just won't be having the fully managed kind of project options for now, because while I was putting all of the energy that I had into managing those packages, the other part of the business that is really needed and, became more and more apparent throughout the whole beta process, how much it is needed, is the course and the education side of things that Authors Own is in a really unique position to provide. And so I'm really excited about kind of pivoting away from providing that kind of more project management side of things and doing more of the education, because I think people do need to know how to write a book so that they can save the most money on editing that they can. Because yes, editors deserve to be paid well, but authors also, deserve to get the most bang for their buck, which, if they are empowered to understand books and understand language, then their raw talent can be refined themselves through education.
Yeah.
So that then they're coming more on equal footing with their editors, who generally are much more educated than, the majority of authors. And that's just how you become an editor a lot of the time. But authors can also get that education, and we can provide that through courses. And then there's also the, Pathway to Publish program that I've been working on for so long that I'm really keen to get out, that I wasn't able to because I was spending so much time on project management. So once we get that out, then, people will be more inspired to maybe DIY almost the whole process, which is the beauty of self-publishing. We've never wanted to gatekeep that, but I think something I felt like we were doing with the all-in-one packages was gatekeeping parts of the process that were very easy for the authors to do themselves, because when you pay a big lump sum for an all-in-one package, it can kind of look like all of this money is going towards the whole service, and it can feel like you aren't empowered to do it yourself, like you're paying all of this money for someone else to do it for you, and there could be all of these little things that could make you feel more empowered throughout the process. And I think the more empowered we can make authors feel in the whole publishing process, the more empowered they'll feel once the books are published to then go forward and market and advocate for themselves and advocate for their books, and connect with each other and connect with their readers, because they'll feel like they're connected to their books and they're connected to like the grounds roots process of creating them, not just from the writing perspective, but from the industry perspective. And I just think that that's something really beautiful that we can create as part of like a wholesome community of authors who are all just trying to keep this industry that we have of something that is often attacked with book bans, with people, saying that fiction books aren't as educational as non-fiction books, and that, you shouldn't read this type of book or that type of book. There's so much noise in the publishing industry. There's so AI much. And there's all of this. There's just always something. There's always some kind of drama. I feel like if we can just cut through that noise and be like, no, we've got this beautiful community of people who are here learning how to produce amazing books that people want to read and that lift up voices that need to be heard, even in all of this, hateful rubbish and noise that's going on around the world, then that's good, even if it is just a little corner carved out of the internet.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying before we hit record as well, that I'm excited about the community space that's coming to our website, which will launch.
Yes.
I'm excited about. And you were saying that a lot of the people that you spoke to last year had sort of finished their book but weren't quite sure where to go, but they knew that they weren't quite ready for editing. So it's just, providing that solution to that gap.
A little bit of a gap there, exactly, because sometimes you finish a book but it isn't ready for an editor yet. But it's not easy to know where to go next when you finished a book. There's just so much.
Well, and especially if it's if you've been writing kind of in a silo, essentially, and if you don't have a lot of writery friends in real life, which I think a lot of us don't necessarily, it's hard to then find anyone to send your work to? Like, how do I find a critique partner? I remember when I was starting and I was like, how the hell do I find a critique partner? Like, do I just have to like proposition someone? Hi, how are you? Do you want to read my stuff? And that's like, I ended up doing that with someone that I met through Instagram, and she's amazing and she's read all of my stuff and I love her stuff that she's now querying and doing things with. But I'm like, it's so weird and you just don't really know where to start. And then finding betas and all of that stuff. So hopefully when we start our little online community, then that's people can be like, hi, I need a critique partner who wants to do swapsies.
So we've got all sorts of plans in the, education and community connection space kind of coming this year, and we'll slow down a little bit on the managed publishing packages, mostly just because we realize we're a small team and we can't tackle the whole of everything all at once. So we just kind of have to pick our battles. So we're just kind of slowing down on one aspect of things because we learned a lot about that last year, and we're just kind of pivoting our energy to learn in a different direction this year so that then we can create more resources for people. Because with the publishing packages, we can only help a small amount of people at a time, whereas with the education and tools, we can reach more people and more widely. So that's the goal, really, is just kind of help and spread as much correct information as we can.
Yeah. And if there is anything on this topic of education and things, if there's anything that you want to know about or like feel like you haven't seen anywhere, tell us so that we can
absolutely
try and put something together.
Yeah. No, we're always looking for inspiration because we always feel like we have lots of ideas and then we sit down to write stuff and then we're like,
and we go,
what are we
like we were when we pressed record on this episode.
Yeah, exactly. What are we doing? Because we feel like we have all the ideas in the world until we actually sit down to look at the blank page, as I'm sure most people listening to this podcast can relate to. So basically, we're just super excited for this year, and we're just excited to bring you all along with us. And thank you for coming along on this journey.
Yeah, so far.
Cool. I think that's everything for this week. Like, it's just welcome back to 2025.
Yeah. They're here, you're here.
Let's keep going.
I do want to ask though, did you read anything over the break, or were you just
I did not.
working like a mad woman?
I just worked like a mad woman over Christmas. Not what I advise anybody do. I have not had time off yet this year. I'm going to try to carve some time off yet. But
You are reading something fun for work though.
Yes, I am. I'm on to Kate's next book, Smoke and Demons.
Which I'm very jealous about.
It is brilliant and I cannot wait. This is our first breakaway from medieval fantasy with Kate for a while, actually, because I think Fires of Valyrian was medieval, Grail Cycle's medieval. So this is our first non-medieval fantasy with Kate. But everyone, you're going to love this. I'm so excited. So good.
So good. Well, I actually finished my first audiobook over the summer, which I've never done. It took some getting used to, and I was worried that I was going to miss stuff because I would get distracted while doing other things. But I didn't. I loved it. It was called Phantasma, if you haven't read. I'm sure it would be wonderful reading with my eyeballs as well. Less than a chapter in, I went and pre-ordered the paperback because I loved it so much. But Laura Horowitz, I think her name is, the narrator, was just spectacular. Like, a lot of the reason that I don't love audiobooks generally, especially in romance when there's the dual POV and the man does his girl voice and the girl does her man voice, not a fan. The way my brain was convinced that she was 17 different people. Anyway, so if you've not listened to Phantasma, go do it. It's like a set in New Orleans. It's fantasy. She's a necromancer. He's a phantom ghost. It was really good. But also, I feel like now I just need to become a fangirl of Laura Horowitz as an audiobook narrator. I just need to look up what she's narrated and just listen to all of her stuff.
Listen to everything.
Yeah.
You also read Onyx Storm.
Of course I did. Yeah, I did. In a matter of days. And that is a whole other episode. Let me tell you.
Well, the fourth ring episode was very popular. Like when we were talking to people, we're like, so I'll have to read it.
I feel like you might, because some of the magic dropped off of it for me in Iron Flame. As you would know if you listened to our fourth wing Iron Flame episode, it was frustrating. But Onyx Storm, I think I brought the magic back. I liked it. I'm back to being disappointed that dragons aren't in the real world. I was saying to a friend this morning, I'm like, I don't know what to read because everything I open, I'm like, well, there's no dragons though.
Yeah.
And even if there were dragons, it's like, it's not Tarn, however you say his name. It's not Tarn and Andana and Sigale. So it's like, Anyway, I'm deep in the hangover. I'm deep in the Onyx Storm hangover. And even more frustratingly, I saw an interview with Rebecca Yarros, and she was like, someone asked her when book 4 was coming, and she was like, never. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, that's not funny, Rebecca. Yeah. So she's like, I'll go and write a contemporary, and then I'm spending the summer with my family, and then I'll start drafting. I'm like, so we are like 18 months minimum away. And also, Rebecca, I love that you write contemporary as well, but we don't, no offense, don't care. Like, if she's listening, I'm so sorry, Rebecca, because of course you're going to be listening to us. I'm so sorry. We don't care. We just want Zayden and Riddick and Sawyer. We don't care about the contemporaries. I'm sure they're amazing. I actually haven't read any of her contemporaries. Maybe I should try one of her contemporaries. I'm sure they're great. Like, she's published over 20 at this point, but I don't know. No. There's nothing else to say, really. I just need the TV show to hurry up and come out, and then I can just watch that repeatedly to, like, as a stopgap.
Yeah.
Although I am both excited and nervous about how that will go.
Yeah. Casting is always a gamble.
Yeah, and now there's lots of like casting rumors swirling, and one of the ones I've seen for Zayden is actually not bad. I think the one that I've seen for Violet was, I don't know her real name, the girl who played Renesmee in Breaking Dawn.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Mackenzie something? Mackenzie Ford. Anyway, her, which I don't hate actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. I might just have to do and see, when I finish it, I'm like, maybe I need to go back to the start and read the whole series again while I'm in my hangover. But then I'm like, then I have just slogged through Iron Flame again. I don't know. Sorry. Welcome to Tangent 2 of the
Tangent 2 of 2025.
Tangent 2 of 2025 in episode 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I could honestly talk about Onyx Storm all day long, so that is another. We will have to have an Erin rambles about Onyx Storm for an 1.5-hour episode. Everyone will love that, right? That'll be great.
You could probably do that on your own. You could probably just ramble into the microphone.
Honestly, it'll just be an 1.5-hour voice note of me just like splices of, oh, and another thing. That'll be what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly, so if we're all okay with that, yeah.
Let's go. Yeah.
Or maybe we can have some guests for that episode, because I've obviously got friends who have also read Onyx Storm. So it'll be like, this is the guest episode. Welcome everyone to the podcast.
Round table about Onyx.
Here we go. Yeah, I've got like one person who is like a deep fantasy reader, like listens to all the deep dive podcasts, and another one who is just like, just give me vibes. I can't even remember what the bad guys' names are, because I only read for vibes. And I feel like I'm somewhere in between. I'm very much a vibe reader as well, but I do remember some details. But anyway, so yeah, maybe Onyx Storm will be a round table episode. We'll see. I'll see if I can convince them to come and talk to me about it.
That'd be fun.
It would. Okay. Well, anyway, yeah.
Well, we're going to let you go now.
So, yeah, we're here. So sorry.
Enjoy your day, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to the Snailed It Podcast with Danikka and Erin, brought to you by Author's Own Publishing, the home of indie publishing. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram at Author's Own Publishing. Music brought to you by Mikkel, with more details in the show notes.